Alright, so we got a 2015 Volkswagen Beetle here with a failed window regulator, passenger and driver side. I'm going to show you guys how to replace that. To do this job, you're going to need a small screwdriver or a plastic trim tool, 10mm open-end wrench, 10mm socket, T25 bit, Torx, and a T30 Torx. Loosen up, they got two bolts in here. Take these out. So under here there is some I don't really know what to call it. There's like nuts with a little slot, and you turn it a quarter turn or half a turn, and you want it to line up with the little cutouts on the actual door panel. There's two of those right in here, and you can use your 10mm open end to open those up. Try to do this with the camera. If you can see that. Like that. And do the same thing on the other side, and this one right here. Get these in the slots down here. You're gonna try to slowly pry this up like that. It's gonna pop out. I got some clips along here and all along the sides here. Sometimes they just pop out like that. Like that. And that's it. Alright, so once you get the door panel loose, they got some connections in here, and just go ahead and unclip those and be careful. They have little spots that you can push down. Use that little flathead and try to push them down and pull it off slow. You don't want to break those. Now that you got the electrical connections out of the way, you should come with something like this. You don't have to take this out. I usually just set it aside. Take out is the motor right here, and that's hooked up to the window regulator on the other side. You can take your T25, take these out. You want to do these by hand because the little sockets that you screw into with these screws here, they're brittle, and if you do too much torque on them, tighten them up or loosen them or whatever, they'll crack on you, and that'll cause the motor to fail. So it'll be misaligned, and it's 3 T25 Torx. Set those on the side here, and now the motor should be able to come free. You just got to wiggle it out like that. Alright, so here's where I found these failed at. This wire, which controls the tension, well, the pulley system that it's on, it actually for some reason starts to separate, and then since it's not connected in here anymore, it can't activate the pulley system, so it'll start skipping and jumping around, and your window will start coming down, but it won't go all the way back up, and you'll hear it jumping around in there, making weird noises, cracking noises, anything like that. This is the cause right here, the regulator. Connect these two wire connections right here. So you just push this little red pin down. It should come out. And this one right here, probably just that. Alright, you want to also take this one out on the side. Alright, you can also take this one out. You're going to need all the room you can, so get them out the way. And this panel right here needs to come off as well. That. Alright, get that out your way. Now I put this here up the window to keep it from coming down, because I just had to disconnect all the wires and cut them. in order to get the window back up because of the tension in here. To take these off to access the screws in there, the torques. And there's another one on this side. I think it's this one right here. Just like some little plugs. Alright, and that'll get you to the other torques. This is a T25 and this one's a T30. Basically what you're going to need to do is take this whole window out of the door to be able to change this out. So I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so I already loosened up the bolts right here, the torch bolts. You don't have to take them all the way out. Just loosen them up enough to where they kind of wiggle, and then tighten it a little bit more so they don't fall out. Alright, so once you loosen it up and try to pull the window out, just be careful with it. Once you get it so high up, there's going to be this little clamp around it that's going to try and hold it. It's going to stop you from getting it past this point right here. So, let's see if I can move the camera here. You can see it. It's going to be this thing right here. And what you got to do is you got to get behind it, well, in between it, and try to wedge it free of the window. This is what the piece looks like. You can actually just put your thumb through the hole and just push it out, and it'll pry it open so you can pull it out of your way. And the window just sits right here, and there's a hole in the window that the bolt goes through to hold it on to the bracket. Alright, now you should be able to just pull it out, set it aside. So there's your hole. Alright, so now we're going to try to get me 2 bars like this on each side, and you got to spring them together basically, just crush them together and get them through this gap right here. You're going to want to get this black foam out of here, so there's a T25 screw that's holding that down in there. Alright, get this foam out. Some adhesive on there, pull it out. Now you're going to take these 2 plugs out. Alright, so I had it cut out, but that's where the 2 plugs are. Let's see. There's some 10mm nuts on each one right here, and that's going to hold the top of the rails in for the window regulator. And then there's 2 more plugs underneath right here. And those are also going to be 10mm nuts. So go ahead and take those out. And these right here, you just got to loosen them up because there's you'll see there's like a cutout to where you can slide it up and pop it out. Alright, so what you do is go up, get out a little cutout. Same thing with this side. Mine's all broken apart because I cut the wires. You might have a little bit more of a challenge to get it out, but it will come out. You don't have to cut the wires. Alright, and that's it. This thing will be connected to that. So get some little clips. push down, kind of work your way on popping each one individually out. Alright, so now we're gonna feed this in there. Alright, so easiest way I found out was basically put it in the front one going first. Alright. Now line up your one in the front. Look for the Alright. Best thing to do is get under there and look and see where the paint is scraped off for where the old nut and window rail went at, and just try to line it up to that. Alright, so when you got the bottom tightened up, you go ahead and tighten at the top. Alright, now you want to make sure both your torques are loose. Now we're going to insert the window. Here, click in like that. Alright. Both sides should be here. Go ahead and tighten up the window. Alright, before you put anything else back on, I'm going to go ahead and put your motor on. Alright, for the motor, these little grooves right here, that's where it's going to mount into. Alright, so just line it up like this and hold the back side of the regulator, apply some pressure. Alright, now once you got it all screwed in, we're going to go ahead and test the window. So, you need to plug in your motor, pop off your switch panel, off your door cover. Now we're going to test the window. Pull it up. Go ahead and start putting everything back together. Make sure you put your plugs in for the bolt holes. Alright, so we've got everything back together. Everything's secure. You just reverse what I showed you in the beginning of the video. If you need to do the other side, the driver's side, it's basically the same thing, just a few more wire connections. So that's it. Thanks for watching.